beaten a good football team. When you look at their record, the opponents are 8-16. But they'll find out today because Syracuse has an excellent football team. I think this Virginia Tech team deserves their ranking.
Well, we're about to find out. Paul Pasqualoni knows this place has not been very kind to his Syracuse football team, which we'll elaborate more on as the game goes on. For Frank Beamer, 13th season as the head coach here, 82 victories for him, but many people say that this football team this year, far and away, the best one that Coach Beamer has put on the field here in Blacksburg. Jimmy Kibble stands by to kick it off. We have a marvelous evening for football. Line drive kick, and it's going to come out of bounds, and Syracuse will scrimmage from their 35-yard line. And let's check it on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, thank you. Keep your eye on Syracuse. They have a quarterback situation altogether different from that of Vick and Virginia Tech. Monty Williams starts at quarterback for the Orangemen. We'll play 2 series. Then Troy Nunes comes in, plays 2 series, and then the rotation begins. Basically, both these young men will take turns running the offense for the Syracuse Orangemen. Now, they both admit they don't like this rotation. They don't think the rest of the personnel does either. But the one advantage here, Ron, is that against a defense as aggressive as Virginia Tech's, neither quarterback has to get beat up.
Well, that's a good point. First down for the 35, and they go straight ahead with the handoff, and this is going to be Kyle Johnson as they run straight ahead. And let's take a look at the Dell Computer starting lineup. Monty Williams gets the call tonight at quarterback. D. Brown, as the tailback's very banged up. Not sure how long we'll see D tonight. And Kyle Johnson, who just carried the ball. The receiver, Spotwood, obviously the best for Syracuse. Bromensky, the tight end, is the one who caught the game winner last year. And with the offensive line, 4 of the 5 are seniors. And it all starts with Banowitz out there on the left side. Not only a senior, is the brains of that offensive unit, and also in the classroom, 4-point student. Straight ahead, D. Brown. Hit, bounces back, takes it across the 35. It's going to be a 3rd down and 9 as we look at the starters for Virginia Tech defensively. Very active group up front. Moore gets all the credit. Engelberger, very, very solid. The linebackers, they are active, particularly Hawks and Smith. And in the secondary, this is the way they line up. It is Midget and Charlton at the corners. The rover, the strong safety, Corey Bird, and Nick Sorensen is the free safety. 3rd down, line to make. Syracuse needs to take it to their own 45. Option play. Into the boundary, knocked out of bounds. Very, very hard after a gain of 2. It is going to be kicking time, 3 and out, Syracuse.
And Ron, when you look at the kicker for Syracuse, Mike Schaefer, he doesn't kick the ball for distance. He kicks short kicks, high kicks. I figure Virginia Tech's going to go after his punch because you shouldn't be able to return a 38-yard kick. So Virginia Tech's 2nd in the country on punt returns, but I think they'll go after this one.
Ricky Hall is the deep man. Gets a good pass. They do come after him, and it is a dandy kick. Driving spiral all the way back to the 12-yard line. 20, 25. At the 40, got a man to beat. There is a flag down. He's going to take it the distance. 88 yards, but let's check the marker after a 50-yard kick.
And Ron, that's with a punt block team on. Ricky Hall really did a lot of that on his own.
Well, I think he also out-kicked it a little bit, Michael, with a 50-yard boot, don't you? Push in the back, Virginia Tech. And obviously, this call is not going to settle well, but folks not really nestled into their seats, and they are up. Frank Beamer being explained about the penalty on the sideline, but that doesn't change his feelings.
No.
Boy, what a home run right off the bat.
Sends an early message, Joe, to Syracuse, because now you've got to cover a little bit better, which may open up the punt block. Here's Ricky Hall in the return. There's the block. I think it was a good call.
The tough thing about it is, and the coaches will see it, it's like it came behind the play. It was unnecessary. So we see Virginia Tech on offense for the first time tonight, scrimmaging from their 25 rather than an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. Vick from the shotgun. The left-hander under pressure, going to run out of harm's way. And is going to be knocked out of bounds after a gain of a couple. And that's Clifton Smith, who will force him out of bounds at around the 27. Here are the starters for Virginia Tech. We'll get through them quickly. Stiff behind Vick, and also Jarrett Ferguson had the long run in the Carrier Dome last year. Andre Davis is the man they look for, the speed guy, number 88. Up front with the offensive line, the biggest concern, Steve DeMasi is starting at center. He's the number 3 guy. Because of an injury to Keith Short, he's having to go. And if they have problems there, Matt Lair will move over to center from left guard. And Neapoli will go in to left guard for that offensive front. 2nd and 7. They keep it on the ground. Tackle made by Bullock as Ferguson cuts it behind a good block on the right side by Redding and also Cadella. And he is close to the first down, but will not have it at the 29. Pettijohn, Simpkins, Downing, and Donald Dinkins. The linebackers, well, Bullock just made the tackle. He and Greenwood particularly very active. And in the secondary, I think they got one of the best covered corners in America in Will Allen. And he'll be challenged tonight, but they flip the corners, so he will always be on the side probably where Andre Davis goes. Good look at Bullock on short yardage. They go straight ahead with the run. He got it, but just barely. Good surge for the offensive line. Eric Downing is down at the bottom of that pile. And Virginia Tech will move the chains.
Ron, I talked to a couple of Virginia Tech coaches before the ball game, and Billy Height, one of them, the running back coach, he said Syracuse will find out what we've been chasing when we chased Donovan McNabb all those years. They're going to see a Donovan McNabb on our ball club.
There's Billy right there on the sideline. As his ball club just picking up a first down. Football rests at the 31-yard line, or 36, I should say. Day of upsets in college football. Will we have one here tonight? Vick standing tall in the pocket. The ball is batted in the air, and that's a nice job by David Byrd. The Syracuse people say not only is Will Allen a good cover guy, that Byrd is coming in a hurry, the senior out of Schenectady, New York. And you could see right there that he batted that one away.
Did a nice job on that, deflecting that football. And Ron, early in this ball game, we're going to see Virginia Tech go to some options. They didn't run any option plays with Michael Vick against Rutgers by design. You'll see more today.
Steve DeMasi, the junior out of Virginia, beats Virginia, comes out over the football, and this time Vick will go under center with an I formation behind him. And they will go with the running play, and again, Stiff with a head of steam. He will have a couple around the 38-yard line, and Quentin Harris from that secondary is up to make the tackle.
Well, Chiron Stith gives you the inside threat, and that's what will spring Michael Vick on the option and set up the passing game. You got to have a good inside running game. Chiron averaging over 5 yards per carry.
6 times he's taken it into the end zone on 115 carries coming into this one. And Syracuse wants a timeout with a 3rd down and long situation. They want to make sure they've got the call that is the right one. So we'll take the break with them. Welcome back to Blacksburg, Virginia. Our situation, a 3rd down and about 8.5 yards for the first down for Virginia Tech. And if you just joined us, they had a punt return of 88 yards. It was called back because of a push in the back. They started this drive at their own 25. Right now they need to take it out to the 46 to keep it going. Corners come up to play bump with the receivers. The pass too high over the middle, and he was looking for Ricky Hall, who was running the short crossing route, and it's going to be punting time for Virginia Tech.
A good defensive series by Syracuse, setting the tempo a little bit, knocking down passes, tough against the run. Now they get a chance to show their special teams.
Jimmy Kibble, who is an excellent punter and does a very good job. I watched him on Thursday working in practice, Mike, that always not necessarily to get that great distance, but to get the height. That's what Frank is looking for good coverage on their special teams. Quentin Spotwood is the deep man, and you want to kick it high to him and not outkick your coverage. Signals for the fair catch, makes it at the 25-yard line. And let's check in with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Ron, Purdue and Michigan State, and Drew Brees over 300 yards passing in the first half alone, but picked off here. Leading 35-21, Michigan State already with an 88-yard interception return for a touchdown. Here with the other pickoff, and Eric Morris going all the way back in. He's going in for the touchdown. And right now, Purdue's lead is only 35-28, Ron.
What a ball game. That one forced by Breeze, and the Spartans are right there. Second offensive series for Syracuse.
Problem is sometimes, Ron, they can't kill the clock by running the ball.
Quick pass to Woodcock on the near sideline. That short drop, and then he stood up and threw the pass. Good for 6 yards.
Going back to the Purdue game, sometimes when you throw the ball like that, you don't establish running game, and you can't kill the clock. You can't put anybody away. Syracuse needs a good drive here against this Virginia Tech defense.
Williams, you see the numbers on him, almost 50%. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And over on the far sideline, it's Troy Nunes. We will see him supposedly on the 3rd series of this ballgame. Here they fake the option. They come with the reverse, and right there is Jamal Smith. One of the things that Virginia Tech under Frank Berry have done such a wonderful job of is defensively staying at home, and those kind of plays don't work well against them.
So when you're good on defense and you're fundamentally strong, Jamel Smith will trail the play. He's going to trail now. He can't let anything get behind him. You can see number 46 makes the tackle on Woodcock.
So it's a loss on the play. It's going to be a 3rd down and 11.
Lost yardage plays and turnovers. That makes this Virginia Tech defense.
Lominski in motion, pressure from the outside. Got a man open deep, but he throws it short and throws it well short. Spotwood had a couple of steps on double coverage downfield. Jamal Smith was putting on pressure on Williams, though.
And Ron, let's see if Virginia Tech goes after this punt again. They went after the first one. Ricky Hall had the great return on his own. Let's see if they come back after Schaefer.
Hall is the man who returned it the distance a moment ago, only to have it erased by the penalty. Virginia Tech, excellent on special teams. Annually, one of the best in all of college football. Good pass coming after him, and he barely got it away, but he drives another deep spiral from the 27-yard line. 35. Hall, and he is going to be ridden down hard at the 37-yard line. That's 49 yards in the kick and 10 on the return, and the pressure has not bothered him so far. 2 great kicks. Coming up tomorrow, Week 6 of ESPN Sunday Night Football at 8:15 Eastern, the Washington Redskins bring their high-powered offense into Arizona to face Jake Plummer and the Cardinals. And then on ABC's Monday Night Football, Troy Aikman leads the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for primetime NFL football. So Virginia Tech improves that field position by 12 yards following the punt, but right here, no place to go for Vick. And that's a nice job by Eric Downing, the Vick Jr. out of Patterson, New Jersey, and Duke Pettijohn, who corralled him and knocked him down for his first loss of the evening.
Well, the coaches at Syracuse says about Eric Downing, they said he understands the defense better this year, and he's having fun playing football. And when you look at, he's had 7 tackles for losses, add an 8th one onto that. Both offenses feeling out these good defenses.
Well, many people say, as I mentioned off the top of the telecast, that this is the best Syracuse defense that Coach Pasqualoni has had in a time at Syracuse. Shotgun formation, under pressure. They're going to get to Vick again. Pettijohn coming in with the pressure. And now Virginia Tech, the offensive line, the quickness of their quarterback has kept other teams at bay. This is a different defense, a step up more than they have played.
And Ron, when I was on the field before the game and Syracuse ran out, every player almost said, you know, they were talking amongst each other. They said, Virginia Tech's not ready. And I think they looked at that schedule and they said, you know what? They haven't played anybody. We're going to show them a better defense. But I don't agree with that.
Well, they should have.
That's Syracuse's mentality in this ball game.
Shotgun, 3rd down and very long after a loss of 9. The corners were up tight. And here comes Vick. They're going to corral him and knock him down. A loss on 3 straight plays. Put a huge asterisk by this series for Syracuse, because if there is a confidence builder in this football game, Mike, this one right here has to be a huge
Not only that, Ron, field position, because they knocked him back about 20 yards here, 15 yards to set this punt up.
And we talked about Hall and how dangerous he was. Quentin Spotwood may be as good as there is in the country, and he's at the other end of this one. Right now, there's a timeout by Virginia Tech. We'll take the break with them. No score. 7:47 left in the opening quarter. So it is punt time for Virginia Tech, second time tonight. Interesting number on Jimmy Kibble. He has never had a punt blocked.
That's why I would figure that Syracuse has a return team on here.
Pressure from the outside. Good high coverage kick. Spotwood retreats to the 24. He'll try to return it. And great coverage by the Hokies. Roniel Whitaker, who took a extra point block for a touchdown last week, is downfield to make the stop. And listen to these numbers: 54 yards on the kick and -4 on the return.
Well, Virginia Tech was thinking the same thing. Ron, the last 3 times in here for Syracuse, they've had 142 yards rushing, 13 sacks for their offense, 8 turnovers, and they've been outscored 107-34. So how big would a touchdown be early in this ball game for Syracuse?
Well, they got the next quarterback to come in. 2 series gone. Troy Nunes, redshirt freshman, Butler, Pennsylvania. And Muddy Williams will watch from the sidelines. You see those linebackers come up tight, quick pass, and he got it away. The ball is fumbled and picked off in the air. Bird for the touchdown.
Anthony Midget caused that fumble.
To say, but we have talked about it. Paul Pasqualoni has talked about it. The turnovers and miscues against this football team have been unbelievable. And the fact that Bird is right there, catches the ball on the fly as Midget caused the fumble, and it is 6-0 with the extra point attempt to come. Shane Graham knocks it home, and with 7:26 left in this opening quarter, Virginia Tech goes on the scoreboard first, 7-0 on a 27-yard fumble return by Corey Bird. So we're back, and it's Corey Bird. They say unofficially 26 yards on the touchdown. Last year, in this same meeting, Tech special teams and defense were a very big factor in the ballgame. Ricky Hall jumped on to a punt, took it for the touchdown. In fact, we're going to show you that before the night's over. But that's what kept them in the football game at the Carrier Dome last year. It's going to come to Will Allen at the goal line. And let's check in with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Ron, let's get back to Purdue and Michigan State. Purdue on the verge of blowing them out all day, but Drew Brees up by just 7, answering with a long drive, and he'll finish it himself. 5 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run. It's 42-28 Purdue. In the SEC, meantime, it was 27-7 Alabama. Deuce McAllister, though, with a touchdown run. It's 27-24 in the fourth quarter, Ron.
So the Rebs are coming back. A game in Oxford, and that's as big a game as they have had in that community. Whistles all over the place. The ball came loose, but the play was whistled dead before the ball was snapped. So let's keep count, and let's see how Syracuse maintains their poise if they do. One major error cost them 7 points. Now they come to the line of scrimmage with the offense. Error number 2. Can't let it pile up because it'll pile up in a hurry.
No, and you can't get behind the sticks on first down against this defense.
Straight ahead with Kyle Johnson. There's nothing. Maybe a gain of a half yard. Darius Monroe, number 98, a junior from Tallahassee, Florida, down at the bottom of that pile. And we're going to say it's second down at about 14.5 to pick up the first down. And Coach Gottfried's comment, very well taken as you look at beating this defense.
Yeah, Ron, you got to big play him. You can't get behind the sticks on first down. Can't have lost yardage plays and no turnovers because this crowd and this team feeds off this defense.
Short drop, wants to throw. Still looking, and that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Michael Hawks, I think, tipped it, Ron, number 43, the linebacker. And right now what's happening is this defense is bearing in on this offense. Right here now, they're looking big plays. The crowd's in this ball game. One turnover turned this whole football game around. And now it's like blood in the water of Syracuse's offense. The Sharks are after them.
Third down. They got to take this football out to the 27-yard line if they want to keep the drive going. Troy Nunes, the redshirt freshman out of Butler, Pennsylvania, under center. Here comes the pressure from the outside. Flag is down, and this pass going to be overthrown and intercepted at the 33-yard line.
Ron, Troy Nunes took a heck of a hit. He was stretched out and took the helmet. And they get a break here. Virginia Tech offside.
Offside, so Virginia Tech with a couple of major errors themselves tonight as they had a punt return for a touchdown.
Michael Hawks, who just tipped the football on the play before, downs Troy Nunes.
Yeah, that hit's almost late, Michael. That ball was delivered, and he had followed through. So he also is fortunate that they didn't tack on a 15-yarder. So erase the interception. The penalty moves it out to the 15-yard line, and it'll be third down at about 12 yards for the first. 7-0 Hokies. Here comes the pressure. They pick it up in the middle, but not on the outside, and they just have to throw it away.
Brought to corner, Anthony Midget, number 9. You're going to see a lot of defensive fronts out of Virginia Tech, a lot of pressure, and here they bring Anthony Midget, number 9, on Troy Nunes. He doesn't have time to find a receiver.
Schaefer has been an extremely busy guy in this first quarter.
Ron, they came close last time. Philip Sumners, number 8, had a shot at him last time.
Hall returned 188, but there was a push in the back and they erased it. You keep an eye on Summers with your glasses, Michael. This kick not as good, and they didn't have quite as much pressure, but it goes with a Syracuse bounce, and it will hit at the 45 and just inside the 45-yard line.
Corey Moore had a shot at the football. They're just going to keep pressuring Mike Schaefer.
39 yards on the kick. Well, in last year's meeting, Tech's special teams and defense a very big factor with that one. Watch what happens here. Ricky Hall jumped on a block punt for the first of 3 non-offensive scores. And then Lauren Johnson scooped up a fumble. 78 yards later, he is in the end zone. And then Johnson again on a defensive extra point return. Fumbles. Jamal Smith lands on it in the end zone for 2 points. As we are back to live action, and Stith is hit by Downing and stopped for no gain. In fact, he may have lost about a half yard. Frank Beamer pacing the sideline, knowing that his offense so far has been stopped in this ball game, but to no matter, because Syracuse gave up the fumble, picked off in the air by Bird, and returned 26 yards for the touchdown. That's how we stand at 7-0. Deep in the pocket, pressure again. Zings this one, has it complete. Browning Wynn, the tight end. And he'll be tackled by Quentin Harris after a gain of 30.
Ron, he could have ate a hot dog back there as much time as he had. Good protection by the offensive line of Virginia Tech. Just waiting for Browning Wynn, the tight end, to come free. Look at this protection. Michael Vick's going to set up. They wall everything off the outside. They give him time to find his tight end, who's on a crossing route behind the linebackers, wide open.
So with his first down on the line of scrimmage, the 25. Straight ahead, Ferguson is going to take it for a couple, and again, it's one of those plays folks sitting in the stands say, why do you run that? It's one of those keep them honest.
Ron, you're exactly right, and that's what I was thinking of when I saw that play. Ferguson hits up inside there and gains a yard, but what that does, holds the linebackers and holds the safeties, so all of a sudden, sometime along the way, we're going to see Michael Vick fake that ball and then run an option. Linebackers get tied up inside. He runs for a great distance on the outside.
2nd and 8, line to make, just outside the 15 of Syracuse. Vick gives it to Stitt. Good pursuit by Syracuse, thrown down by Will Allen, and it's going to be a 3rd down situation for Virginia Tech.
That's the way you play corner. You have to cover in the passing game, but eventually you got to be able to run force. You got to be able to come up and shut everything off. Will Allen didn't lose any leverage, kept Stitt right in his gunshot, and tackled him without much of a gain.
As we mentioned, Will considered one of the better cover corners in college football. 3rd down. About 7 yards to pick up the first as we've gone under 4 minutes left in this opening quarter. Good protection this time. Lofts it for the end zone. That's well overthrown. And they're going to call pass interference. And my first question is, nowhere close to being a catchable football.
I think they're going to call holding maybe, Ron. There was some contact, but that's what they'll find now, whether it was catchable or not. If it's pass interference, was the ball catchable?
Dennis Hennigan is the referee tonight. Paul Pasqualoni now looks at another situation. Talk about a huge mistake on 3rd down.
I think it happened before that, though.
Yeah.
As he was running down the field, there was a defensive back holding on Emmett Johnson, David Bird maybe. Ron, the interesting thing is this ball game goes on. Steve DeMassi's the starting center tonight. He's the 3rd team starting center. He's a walk-on. So Frank Beamer, I've been watching his play early in this ball game. They're giving him a lot of help with the guards, though. Josh Redding to the one side, Matt Lair the other side. And I told Frank before the ball game, if things go well, he may be in your office asking for a scholarship. He said if he finishes the game, he said that could happen.
1st down following the penalty. 12.5 yards away for Virginia Tech. They lead this one 7-0. Counter play, Stitt again. Cuts it back inside, dropped after a gain of 2. That's Keith Bullock, the very active linebacker for the Syracuse football team. Like we were talking before the ball game, if you're looking for somebody that might play on the next level, in looking at this kid, you might take him, just as you said, on the hook. He's a great-looking athlete.
He is a good-looking, he leads Syracuse out. He's the first guy out the bus, the first guy out the plane, and he'd worry you if you're playing Syracuse.
Michael Vick, redshirt freshman, redshirted last year. They had him travel with the varsity so he could see what it was like. On the scramble, going to try to run it, and very wisely goes out of bounds. They're going to say that he got it down to around the 8-yard line as Greenwood and Bullock were the 2 guys pressuring him. And let's check on the sideline with Adrian.
Ron, a lot of people in the Big East have made the comparison saying Vick is going to be the next Donovan McNabb. Well, Keith Bullock told me yesterday, yeah, I've heard the comparison too, and I got something to tell you. I know Donovan McNabb. He's a friend of mine. I've won championships with him, and yes, I have seen Michael Vick. But I'm here tonight to prove to the nation that Michael Vick is no Donovan McNabb.
He couldn't catch him there. He may change his opinion before this evening's over.
2:51 left in this opening quarter. It's 3rd down. And an audible being called by Vick at the line of scrimmage. Better hurry. Gets it away. And it's Stitt. Bounces to the outside at the 5. And I believe, yep, he's going to have the first down as he got the football forward. Quentin Harris hit him, but around the 2-yard line, and they say now the 1.5.
Ron, this is what impresses me as much as his passing ability and his running ability. Michael Vick's ability to have respect from his offensive team. He checked off to this play. Chiron Stitt gets the first down. It was obviously a good checkoff. So a guy who knows his offense, got the respect of his teammates in the huddle.
Stiff now 6 carries, 14 yards, and it's 1st and goal for the Hokies. Trying to make this a 14-0 ball game in the opening quarter. Touchdown, Virginia Tech, and Stiff.
This keeps up, Ron. I don't think anybody in Syracuse will ever vacation in Blacksburg, because this has not been a pretty sight when Syracuse comes to Blacksburg, Virginia.
You know what, though, Mike? The Syracuse defense actually has played a pretty darn good first quarter.
The penalty was big on that play.
The penalty was huge. He only had to go 55 yards. And the penalty on Syracuse, scrimmaging 1st and 15. Extra point is good. Virginia Tech goes on top, 14-0. And let's look at the touchdown run again by Stiff.
Good hard running back inside. Gets a nice block from his center. Damasi, Matt Lair, Lambeau, the tackle with a good block. And Ron, we watched the game here last year. The Virginia Tech game. Virginia Tech started out like this against Virginia. Virginia came back in the second half and blew it open. So nothing's safe here.
That's for sure. Well, our college football lineup later tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN2, Mountain West action as Utah takes on standout wide receiver Matt Farmer, the 25th ranked Air Force Falcons. And at 9 on ESPN, an SEC meeting as quarterback Doug Johnson leads 6th ranked Florida against Auburn. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Well, this is not the way you want to start if you're Paul Pasqualoni. Because all of a sudden everybody starts looking at each other. They don't say anything, but they, oh no, we're back in one of these games here that we've done so poorly in the past 3 times in here.
Troy Nunes on the sideline just thinking, I throw a complete pass, ball is knocked into the air, and another defensive back is right here to pick it off in midair to go 26 yards for a touchdown. And that started the problems for Syracuse. Then a procedure penalty. They scrimmaged 1st and 15, couldn't get it out. And the punt only 39 yards, and they took it 55 and 8 plays to score. This is Woodcock. 30, 35, and he's still free. And that will be very good field position for Syracuse to start following a 46-yard return. Butler on the special teams.
Yeah, Pat Woodcock with a good return. Syracuse is good in the special teams area. There's a lot of colleges that will visit Paul Pasqualoni's staff to go over different things in special teams. Pat Woodcock has set him up in good field position.
Well, it looks like Williams has come back in, and so that one play counted for a series. This is the 5th series of the ball game, so Coach Pasqualoni sticking with his plan that he's used earlier. This is the best field position for Syracuse to start this evening at their own 46. Williams with the option. And the pitch goes back to Brown, and he'll take it into the short side of the field for a couple. Michael Hawks makes the tackle, and let's check with the studio again.
All right, Ron, let's get back to the Big Ten. Michigan State and Purdue. Spartans driving down 2 touchdowns. Bill Burke up in the air, but no, picked off. Looking for Blacksburg. Adrian Beasley intercepts it for Purdue. Gets some yardage on the way back. It's 42-28, Boilermakers. Ron?
They just keep beating each other in that conference.
A lot of points being scored. A lot of points being scored. Mungro comes in at tailback.
And there's 9 guys that you got to count for. So close to the football for Virginia Tech's defense. Got to throw.
Option. And Williams is going to take it to the 46. D. Brown, who was a high school quarterback. And they said when we talked with them on the phone earlier this week that they might use him in situations. Wound up being the ball carrier. So he takes it to the 46 and within 2 yards of the first down.
Yeah, he's the leading rusher. He's averaging over 5.6 yards per carry.
Syracuse trying to pick up their initial first down of the night. Syracuse. Corey Moore and number 46, Jamal Smith, are there to stop it behind the line of scrimmage.
Ron, that play could have been in a phone booth because Syracuse goes to the wishbone set. Virginia Tech's in there with about 10 or 11 players defensively. There's not any place to fit anybody through. Corey Moore with a good push makes the play on D. Brown.
Well, Jamal Smith also is the one who stood up the blocker, and there was no place for that one to go. Fourth punt of the night for Syracuse. They got the return on. This is a pooch kick. Schaefer's punt will bound at the 15, at the 10, bounces at the 1, and is going to go dead at the 1-yard line. Now they're going to call touchback.
Never controlled it.
The official saying that he knocked it into the end zone.
That's exactly what happens, Ron. They try to get down here to down the football, but it just taps it. Never controlled it. Tapped it in. I know you have a little doubt on your face there. Very, very close.
Frank's gotten a couple tonight. I thought that was roughing the passer down there, too. Well, it's his home. It's his home park. That's exactly right. So they scrimmage from the 20. Play action by Vick. Cullen Hawkins, the backup fullback, number 42, has that one good for
Ron,
18 yards.
What Michael Vick did there is he took advantage of when he ran the counter play earlier in the ball game, and that sets this up, the bootleg, and he catches Cullen Hawkins out of the backfield. So they're holding the linebackers for Syracuse, doing a nice job with ball handling.
14-0. The Hokies of Virginia Tech. We have 3 seconds, now 2, and we will not have another play. That's the end of the first quarter. Standing ovation from the home folks, and they should be excited. Outstanding first 15 minutes by Virginia Tech. Here's the first touchdown of the night. Bird picks off the fumble in the air, and then Stitt scores. That's how we stand at 14-0. 14-0 as we start the second quarter. And some numbers for Syracuse that I'm sure are discouraging to Paul Pasqualoni. In the first quarter, they had 8 carries for a total of 2 yards.
Yeah, you got to be able to run the ball to keep this defense honest.
Ready for play.
See Kendrick, number 4, junior out of Lynchburg, lines up at tailback this time, spelling stiff. The option, and the pitch comes back to him. 40, 45. He's open at the 50-yard line. Cuts back against the grain and is going to be knocked down finally.
Andre Kendrick.
What are they going to say? At the 36-yard line by Quentin Harris. 27 yards.
When you run a speed option, your fullback has to do a nice job of blocking whoever's going to support. Number 42, Cullen Hawkins, is going to come here, and he's going to kick out the corner. And that opens up the run for Kendrick. Another look. There's the good block. Kendrick home free.
Good change of pace. Very quick runner. Ferguson and Stitt come back into the lineup. And it's Stitt who gets the handoff. Nothing at the line of scrimmage. Spins off, and he's going to wind up making about 3 yards out of this. That's an outstanding run because Syracuse had it closed off at right guard where it was designed. And it's Bullock who forced it. Syracuse with a player shaken up, and it looks like Quentin Harris, the free safety, sophomore. Well, interesting scores today. Kentucky continues to roll. 5 wins for Hal Mumme and his crew.
How about Notre Dame?
What a comeback.
We'll catch them when they get down to Tennessee. Here's the injury.
It looked like his
bottom of the pile.
Yeah, his own teammate. Looked as though that maybe Willie Ford may have caught him with either his cleats or a knee. Clinton is really doubled over here as the Virginia Tech offense is out of the huddle into the line of scrimmage, but it's going to take a few more counts for him to get to the sideline.
First quarter has been good for Virginia Tech. They jumped on their opponents 134-34.
I looked at that number and I thought,
they jump right on you and they get a lead and they force you.
Then it allows that defense to.
Yeah, they force you to play to them.
Second down and 7. Flea flicker. Back to Vick. Still looking for somebody to go to and throws it complete inside the 10-yard line. Nice comeback by Andre Davis.
Ron, I watched this play from the start. Andre Davis just ran by. He's a sprinter on the Virginia Tech track team, and he can run. He just runs by the corner. But Michael Vick couldn't control the football. But a great job by coming back. As you said, Andre Davis didn't buy a ticket. Watch him run right by the corner. Will Allen. Now he's open. He's behind him. Now he doesn't quit. He doesn't quit on the play. Comes back and catches the ball by Michael Vick. Smart play.
Good for 23 yards at his first and goal. Virginia Tech. The ball just inside the 10-yard line. Stiff. Hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Going to be wrapped up after a gain of 1, and that's Derek Corley, senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, number 99, the nose tackle.
Here's got to be your concern if you're Syracuse defensively here because of Michael Vick's ability to run the option. The option is a tough play when you get inside the 10-yard on a defense because they're playing some man coverage. You got some people, wide receivers running you off, so the option could be a good play down here.
About to go into 13 minutes left until halftime, and Virginia Tech has had it all their way. Did anybody stay at home? Yes, Vick for the end zone. Touchdown to Ricky Hall. Paul Pasqualoni has to be wondering. First time they played on grass, does that have anything to do with it? I don't think so.
It's tougher. It's tougher going from turf to grass than grass to turf. It's almost like everything slows down for you a little bit.
What is it with this place, though? Down 21-0 with 12:58 left until halftime. And you talk about efficiency. Virginia Tech has 3 touchdowns, Mike, on 125 yards. That's pretty darn efficient. There's a break in the action. The Hokies, are they number 4? Well, they're striving to prove it right now. Now the President's House here on campus. It's been a busy place, and I'm sure that dwelling has as well. Huge weekend. It is homecoming. Capacity crowd. Game day here this morning. Good heavens, they had, between 15 and 20,000 people that got up early to come out for that. And they're here tonight cheering just as loudly as they did this morning. 2 yards deep in the end zone, Will Allen. Shy of the 15-yard line. Derek Pinella, and guess who he is the son of? Michael? New Pinella's son. Downfield of the special teams.
Ron, the tough thing is when you have good special teams, you make the opponent start inside the 20-yard line, inside the 15, 14-yard line. That's an extra first down that they have to get on a drive against this defense.
So again, and there's Lou, a big smile on his face as he watched his son on the special teams making the tackle for Virginia Tech. Poor field position again for Syracuse. Noon's back in the ballgame at quarterback. Option play. Mungo turns the corner, 25, and still running. Stepped out of bounds, though, back at the 33-yard line. And that's good for 18 and the longest run from scrimmage by Syracuse this evening.
Ron, somehow they made a mistake on Virginia Tech's defense because I was watching the strong linebacker Corey Bird took the quarterback, and the ball got outside and contained. And I'm sure Bud Foster's not happy about that, the defensive coordinator.
Well, second grade, second semester, but if you see there's ever a time a team needs to score, it has to be right here if Syracuse is going to be in this ball game. Monroe, left side. Full ahead of steam is Jamal Smith. Will put a headgear on him. It's a gain of 5, though, and out to around the 38-yard line. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Interesting rotation, not only by the Syracuse quarterbacks, but by the Virginia Tech defense. John Engelberger and Corey Moore, their best pass rushers, Ron, for the most part, are not in on first and second down, traditionally running downs for Syracuse. But remember their game plan and what we learned earlier this week. If they're not in that game, during first and second down, they want to pass on first down or run around the corners because they're not such a big threat without them in the game.
Well, you know, Adrian, it's a good point, and also I think an alarm should go off when those two guys aren't in the ball game for Syracuse. Nunes has this one. Spotwood just gets knocked totally backwards about 3 yards after the ball got there.
That's a good hit by Anthony Midget, but continuing what you and Adrian were talking about, a lot of times when defensive coordinators find their kicking team gives the ball to the opponent on the 14-yard line, because it's a long way to go, they'll substitute their down the line people and keep their regular guys fresh, as you see another hit on Quentin Spotwood. So you pick your spots to give rest to your defensive linemen.
Syracuse is 0 of 4 on third down conversions. They need to take this one to the 42.5-yard line to keep things going. They're down 21-0. Woodcock in motion. Nunes lobs it long, and it's way too far overthrown, and Woodcock took a pretty good shot, and he is going to get up. No, he's not. He's going to go back down. Ike Charlton is the man who hit him.
That's the other thing. You're going to find the receivers going back to the huddle saying, hey, don't hang me out there. And they've had a couple of these where the quarterbacks are hanging the receivers out, and they're getting walloped. That's Pat Woodcock, who played his high school football in Canada and came down to Michigan or Syracuse, and where he was going to go to college. Nunes trying under pressure, hangs the ball up, and Ike Charlton just finishes off Pat Woodcock.
And boy, he's exposed in an upper high, the high rib cage just underneath that right shoulder blade is where he got the shoulder pads.
Okay, if you're wearing a white jersey here, you're going to get hit. This defense, special teams, and now a very good offense. Ron, I'm impressed with this Virginia Tech football team. They got speed. Speed in every area, special teams, defense, and offense.
So let's take a commercial break. 11:41 remaining until halftime. It's been all Hokies. 21-0 they lead. I'm glad to see that Pat Woodcock is up and okay in the sideline. He took a pretty good shot coming across that middle by Charlton. Punting time for Syracuse. Schaefer with his 5th punt of the first half.
They're going to come after him again.
Good high coverage kick away from Hall. Signals for the Bearcats. Fumbled the ball, and it is on the ground, and he makes the recovery at the 24. Well, coming up next Saturday on ESPN College Game Day at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. At noon, number 17 Ohio State looks to rebound at Minnesota. Then at 7, a history in the making for the first time in Division I. Father and son square off as Bobby Bowden goes for his 300th win against son Tommy as top-ranked Florida State takes on Clemson. For more, log on to ESPN, part of the Go Network, go.com. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Blacksburg, Virginia. This place filled to capacity, and they're having fun right now. Just over 11 to play until halftime, and they lead it 21-0. And it's just keep on keeping on. Kendrick this time the ball carrier. McIntosh up from the secondary to make the tackle just short of the 30.
Well, Adrian Karsten talked about early in the ball game in his open about that Syracuse people weren't sure, the defensive players, how good Michael Vick is. And I think they'll have a different view of him as they go into halftime, because he is electrifying.
Option play, pitches it back, Kendrick, and he will be forced out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down. And let's check in with Adrian.
Well, Ron and Mike, the ironic thing about this matchup is that Vick could have been the quarterback at Syracuse. Then the comparisons of the next Donovan McNabb may not have taken place. Maybe we wouldn't be seeing the rotation at quarterback for Syracuse. As a matter of fact, McNabb himself was the player host when Vick visited up there, but he wanted to stay and play closer to home. Basically, Ron, in his words, I didn't want to be the second Donovan McNabb. I wanted to be the first Michael Vick.
He's got a darn good start. One of the things that really has helped him, he's 4 of 6, 79 yards and a touchdown, is the redshirt year last year. And he said being able to travel with the team and stand on the sideline and see what goes on, tremendously helpful. Runs into his own man, gets by another, and finally is going to go out of bounds. And now here come flags.
Well, you get frustrated. You chase him all over the football field, and you finally get to him, and then you get to him out of bounds and tack on a penalty. Michael Vick, and Adrian's talking about comparisons to Donovan McNabb. In this league, when you talk to coaches, Don Nalen, I saw something he wrote, you'd be glad when Donovan McNabb leaves, and then all of a sudden you see a Michael Vick. Had chances at him, Ron, then gets out of bounds here and then gets tackled. Well, that's tough there, too. But he was out of bounds. Clifton Smith. Penalties have hurt Syracuse. Just keeping drives alive for Virginia Tech.
Total yards, there you see it, 139. Syracuse at 38 with 10:40 left until halftime. Kendrick again, a running back into the short side of the field. And it's going to be Harris who will shove him out of bounds. Obviously, Quentin injured last series, but is well enough to be back on the field.
Well, what Adrian Karsten was talking about, the comparison to Donovan McNabb, same type of player. We just saw this play a second ago. Michael Vick was trapped against Syracuse and got outside. Same thing Donovan McNabb does. Michael Vick back to pass, shows you the same kind of scrambling ability. Hurts you a lot of different ways. The arm, Donovan McNabb was an excellent deep thrower. Michael Vick just seems to do it with little effort.
Timeout is called by Virginia Tech. We'll take it with them. 21-0, they lead, but go away for a moment. So we're back to a jam-packed Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. They started this party, this celebration, many hours before the kickoff. And as we mentioned, the last 3 times that Syracuse has come in here, they have given up 35, 35, and 41 points. And right now, they are down 21-0. 10:35 to play until halftime. Setting deep in the pocket. Here comes a blitz, and he's going to be sacked back at the 43-yard line. It is Clifton Smith, who came a very long way. And a nice job of coverage in the secondary, and then that's the reason he couldn't unload it.
Yeah, Clifton Smith shows a lot of speed catching Michael Vick. They also brought Keith Bullock on the top side, too. Trying to heat up Michael Vick a little bit more. Pressure him. Cool as a cucumber. Doesn't look like he gets ruffled. 21 points. Has to help him,
No question. But he did say in the interview we did yesterday, Mike, I go back to the point, he said the red shirt year and being on the sideline to watch what happened made such a difference for him. Zings it over the middle, has it complete, and that's Carter. And that is going to be enough for the first down at the 36. McIntosh in the tackle.
And he just seems to do it so easy. A little flick of the wrist. Ron, you were talking about situation last year when he was a redshirt freshman that Michael Vick actually was Donovan McNabb for his team as they prepared for the game.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, the defensive players said, ironically, last year he was Donovan, and they said we saw many similarities. In fact, in some ways, we thought he did a little bit better than Donovan McNabb did. But anyway, it was a good picture for the defense, and they talked about that this week. Just short of the first down. Missed it by inches.
Here's what I was talking about. He just looks like he's got such strong wrists as he delivers the football. Stands up tight, upright, flick of the wrist. Derek Carter's the tight end that catches the football. And he got injured on that play because he came to the sideline.
So we'll keep an eye on him. Browning Wynn, a sophomore from Jonesville, Virginia, will replace him at tight end.
Michael Vick's 212 pounds. Do you think quarterback sneak here? Maybe.
Fourth down and inches, takes it straight forward, and he'll have the first down at the 35 behind the blocking of Steve DeMasi. The number 3 center who was a walk-on but starting because of injuries, and he has done a very good job in this game so far.
You don't think he's excited? Made that phone call this week saying, I'm starting. All my friends get to the game.
Right now, Coach Beamer would like to see, as the clock runs with 9:20 left until halftime, this drive to last another 4 or 5 minutes. Take time off the clock and get it in the end zone again. But here comes the option play. Has 5, has 10, and he's loose. Vick down the sideline at the 10, knocked out of bounds. It'll be first and goal. McIntosh got to him, and a flag is down back at the 15.
I think Andre Davis is going to get called for holding. His left arm, he was stalk blocking, but I think his left hand slipped on the defensive back, and he's going to get called for holding. And he's over there explaining to Frank Beamer, hey, I didn't hold. Here's the play right here. It's against Will Allen. And his hand slips out. See right there, his hand, and that's what the official sees from over here. The hand comes out. And plus he pulls a jersey a little bit, so good call.
Penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Still, Frank Beamer's got to be extremely pleased with what he has seen tonight, controlled by his football team. 150 yards. Meanwhile, his defense has held Syracuse to 38 yards, and Syracuse has already punted 5 times in the first half. We have 9 minutes left.
And his defense get good and rested on the sideline because they haven't been on the field much.
Eighth play of this drive. Stitt bounces it outside, gets around the linebacker, going to be knocked out of bounds by Clifton Smith, who has had a very good ball game. He's a freshman. We got him for 6 tackles.
Sideline to sideline for Clifton Smith. He has been impressive. He's playing hard as this defense, you know, they get to the breaking point here. Another touchdown. This defense needs a turnover.
Conversely, you talked about the rest that Virginia Tech is getting. Their defense is getting the breather. The Syracuse offense has not spent very much time on the field, so their defense may be getting a little worn in this first half. Option play again. They play it differently with the defense, and it doesn't matter. He's still there. They had somebody to take the quarterback immediately, and he still is going to wind up with a gain of about 8 yards in the play.
Ron, Keith Bullock made the statement he's no Donovan McNabb. Watch number 33 right here. He just disappears. He's got him right here. All of a sudden, gone. Let's say Keith's going to have a better feeling about Michael Vick. And Keith Bullock is a very good linebacker.
Second down at about 2.5. Stitt with the pitch back. Turns it upfield inside the 10. It'll be first and goal, Virginia Tech. McIntosh tripped him up.
That's what I like about Chiron Stith. 3 years he waited to be the #1 tailback as a freshman. He started against Akron with some injuries. 97 he redshirted. 98 he became the second tailback. He runs up in there hard.
First and goal. They have placed the ball down just inside the 8-yard line, and a whistle and a timeout is called by the Orangemen. Crowd again coming to their feet. 7:36 until halftime. We'll take the break with them, trying to make it a 4-touchdown first half lead. Part of the bands here at Virginia Tech. And as we pull back out, the 21-0 lead. Virginia Tech threatening to make it 28-0. Substitutes being made by Syracuse as they have called a timeout. 11 plays, 68 yards so far on this drive. And they'll go straight ahead, and that's what we talked about. Ferguson go to sleep as they run him and then fake to him and fake to him, and almost took it into the end zone.
Well, you talk about just run a play a second ago, an option play where Michael Vick picked up good yardage. This is the start of the good option series. You got to keep them honest inside. Jared Ferguson hit that hole pretty hard too, knocking it down to about the 3-yard line. They've got all the weapons.
And right now, as I mentioned, this is the kind of drive that their head coach would like, and that is to just burn time off the clock, let the defense rest. Kendrick in motion. Stiff at the 1 and then being shoved back.
Eric Downing underneath that pile.
Pettijohn also.
Lineman.
Yep. Combining on the stop and then shoving back the ball carrier.
Big question I had coming into this ball game, whether Syracuse offense could move the football. And the answer is no right now. Because this is a good Syracuse defense, but you can't be on the field that long.
Monday Williams looking on from the sideline and knows that they've got a really high hill to climb in this one. 14th play of the drive, stiff over the top. Touchdown Virginia Tech, 27-0. Paul's got to be thinking, I'm going to wake up and this was a bad dream. This was a nightmare, and it's not really what's happening.
He's going to think about changing airlines, not staying at the same hotel, not eating the same food. Something's wrong.
Well, the last 3 meetings, Virginia Tech has outscored them 14-4 in touchdowns as the kick is up and it's good. They have had 13 sacks to only 3 by Syracuse. Syracuse has had 8 turnovers to only 1 by the men from Blacksburg. And it goes on, and then you add up what's happening tonight. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, ironically, had Sharon Stith, when he was a freshman at Western Branch High School here in Virginia, read the list of players who were cut his freshman year on a Friday afternoon, he may have never been playing on this football field, never made the score 28-0. Problem is, Ron, he didn't have a car. He had no way to get to the locker room, find out he was cut. So he shows up for practice on Monday. All of a sudden, shows up in the special teams. The coach said, "Who is that? I thought we cut this kid." A couple of runbacks and said, maybe we were too hasty in our decision. So the fact that he had no transportation, little communication with the coaches, found him a starting spot on the special teams, starting spot in the Western Branch High School, and a starting spot here now in the backfield for Virginia Tech.
That's the key, Adrian. Just
perseverance.
That's right, perseverance. Don't take no for an answer. So Vick, you see why in the open we talked about that he is just the belle of the ball here in this part of Virginia with the alumni of this school, with the students on campus, and to think he is still a redshirt freshman.
Ron, he appears to do for Virginia Tech what Donovan McNabb did his entire career for Syracuse.
Except here for Donovan.
Except here.
Kibble with the kick. From the 5, it's Will Allen. Breaks it open for a moment out over the 30. And at the 33-yard line will be stopped by Sean Witten. Well, yesterday we asked Michael what he thought of the comparison to McNabb.
Yeah, that's a great compliment. You know, I think our running abilities, the ability to escape defenders, things like that, you know, escape the rush, you know, and make big plays, you know. When things break down, I think that's our similarities. I felt that here I can come here and make a name for myself, you know, not playing in the shadows of somebody else, you know, not being called the next Donovan McNabb or the next whoever, just Michael Vick, somebody who's going to make a name for himself at Virginia Tech, and that's what I feel I had the opportunity to do here.
Williams goes on top. This one well overthrown, and as you can see, Woodcock covered extremely well by Anthony Midget.
2nd and 10. Anthony Midget on the coverage.
Numbers on Vick tonight, almost 100 yards. 5 of 7, 1 touchdown. The thing for a Beamer team, and it happened again tonight, Mike talked about they jump on you early, but it was the defense who scored first. Went on top 7-0. Then the offense took over for the next 21 points. Williams with the option. Can't get the pitch away. Going to have a couple of yards back beyond the original line of scrimmage. Taylor will make the stop on him, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Ron, I just saw Corey Moore and the Syracuse offensive players. A couple of the offensive linemen have been getting on him, so whether or not he can get to the quarterback, they don't want to make him mad because Corey Moore may be the best defensive lineman in this country. But I look for him to start turning it up.
Crowd is coming to their feet.
10 of 19 plays for negative yardage or 0.
Incredible. 3rd and 9. They need to take it out across the 43. Williams with a pass in and out of the hands of Lowe, and it'll be 4th down and the 6th punt in this first half for Syracuse.
And they continue to pressure on Corey Moore. Just talking about him a little bit ago, he is really rushing the passer.
Schaefer's kick very high. Kicks it away from Hall. Now takes a huge Syracuse bounce. Going to go down inside the 20 and will roll dead at the 16-yard line. Well, coming up tomorrow on ESPN2, the Major League Soccer playoffs get underway as the Tampa Bay Mutiny take on forward Stern John and the Columbus Crew. Tampa Bay comes into the match having won the season series 3-1. Coverage begins 3 o'clock Eastern live from Columbus Crew Stadium. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Ron, they have a beautiful stadium on Route 71 there in Columbus. They put it up, seemed like in 3 days. It's a beautiful stadium.
Stern John, the star. Here's the pitch. Stiff, nothing outside. He's going to cut it back into the middle. And Clifton Smith, boy, we have mentioned his name a number of times in the first half. 6'2", 250 pounds. Going to be a gain of about 5. And now it is becoming a situation of every time of the snap on a running play that Virginia Tech, with the surge of the offensive line, is getting close to 5 yards per try.
Ron, when we did the open, the big question was, how good is Virginia Tech? I think they've answered in this first half that they're very deserving of their high ranking.
Stiff off the right side. It wiggles his way close to a first down, but they're going to stop him about a half-yard short. Bullock and McIntosh combining.
Because they have everything that you need in a football team. They got a great quarterback under center. They got a speed receiver in Andre Davis. They got a control receiver in Ricky Hall. They got a good offensive line. They got a great running back in Chiron Stiff. They got excellent defense, pass rusher in Corey Moore, and they play great special teams. They have it all, and they got a schedule to match. They got every tough game here at home.
On 3rd and 1, Ferguson takes it straight ahead. That'll be good for the first down. And again, the chains will move. The clock will continue to run at 3:32 left until halftime. Crowd cheering on every move tonight, and they've had more and more reason to do so.
This defense from Syracuse just has to feel like they haven't had a chance to breathe.
Well, it seems to have happened very quickly to them. Counterplay, Stiff bounces it outside, being tripped up as he heads out of bounds. David Bird is out there.
Not the same team every week, Ron. You get an injury here or there, and that changes everything. But the table is set for Virginia Tech. It's set. Now, whether they eat or not remains to be seen. But this guy, number 7, a lot of defensive coordinators. This Big East is going to get sick.
Stiff
trying to defend him.
16 carries, 44 yards. He has scored twice tonight. He gets away from it, throws the pass complete, and tackled out of bounds at the 35. It's short of the first down. Hall made the catch.
Nice call by Ricky Busso, because Syracuse now starting to try to get to Michael Vick, and then what do? You roll him out to his left-handed side, and he hits Ricky Hall.
Looks like Bullock who is down. Keith Bullock, the inside linebacker for the Syracuse Orangemen, injured on the play, and is, as you can see, still down right in front of the Virginia Tech bench. Numbers on this one, if you have just joined us. Virginia Tech, 111 yards rushing, 103 passing for 214. And the numbers on Syracuse, and we're almost at halftime, 27 yards rushing, 12 passing for a total of 39 yards.
Ron, you always teach linebackers to play off blockers with their hands. And Keith Bullock's going to come up here, and he's going to get blocked right here into his legs. Sharon Stiff hits him, cuts him low. That's the thing you like about Stiff. Catches the ball, runs with the football, and blocks. Here he's blocking an All-American linebacker.
Bullock we have for 6 tackles and 2 of those solo.
He got up, he was blocked, he got up, he tried to get back to make that tackle. Even hurt, showed you great effort.
Third down and 2. They need to take it out across the 37.5-yard line, and here comes the option play, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage. Gets away from the first, but will not get away from the second tackler, Pettijohn. Third time that they have sacked him tonight.
Rodney Wells got the first hit. Duke Pettijohn takes him down. Big stop by Syracuse. They want the ball back with 2:38 on the clock. Ron, we haven't seen much of Nunes. Well, almost one series is all.
Well, he had the interception that counted for 1. Third punt as Kibble waits for the snap back at the 11-yard line. They came after him. This is a wonderful kick. High spiral. Spotwood falls down at the 24-yard line. And let's check in with Brian Ketty in the studio.
All right, Ron, coming up on our Buick halftime report, we'll check in with Drew Brees and Purdue, taking on a Michigan State defense that shut down Michigan just a week ago. Alabama trying to follow up off an off week, and before that, of course, had the upset win over Florida. And Mount Union, could the Purple Raiders set an NCAA record for consecutive wins? That's coming up. Rod Gilmore will join you then.
Well, those kids deserve a lot of credit. I don't care what division you play on. When you win 48 games in a row, and some great stories on them this week.
And Larry Karras, the coach, Alliance, Ohio, they're happy in Alliance.
Nunes is the quarterback again as they scrimmage from the 25. Screen pass and hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that's Michael Hawks, who's there to spoil the whole thing. D. Brown, as soon as he caught it, he was there all over it.
Corey Moore put the pressure on Troy Nunes. Michael Hawks knew he had a little small window to get inside that blocker, and he did to make the tackle.
Second and 14. Nunes drills it. Well, Brzezinski, the intended receiver, Ike Charlton, was all over him.
Ron, they're doubling Corey Moore. They're making sure that he doesn't get to the quarterback. taking the tackle. Pilon, number 64, he'll block him, and then the back picks him up. So they make sure that Corey Moore gets blocked by 2 people.
Again, this crowd comes to their feet. It is a 3rd down situation, Syracuse. And to keep this drive going, they've got to go out to the 35-yard line.
Virginia Tech's going to get a shot. If they don't make this first down, they got 1 timeout yet. They're still going to be in good field position.
Nunes throws back across the field, and it's picked off. The no-no of no-nos. Can't do that. Throw across your body all the way across field, and Sorensen will make the pickoff. And I'll tell you, he has set the table for this to be a 35-0 game at halftime.
And Nunes is hurt, Ron. He threw across his body. Carl Bradley was on a twist with Corey Moore. Corey Moore went inside. Carl Bradley came outside. He chased down Troy Nunes, forced the throw. He threw across his body. Big mistake in the interception. Nick Sorensen picked it off. Virginia Tech in pretty good situation. Watch Corey Moore. He's going to go down inside. He's going to go inside. Bradley's going to come outside. Now Bradley chases him down, throws across his body. Nick Sorensen just picking off the high fly ball. And there's the hit on Troy Nunes. Corey Moore going down inside. Little stunt, twist. Gets picked up by 2 people. D. Brown helping the guard. Nick Sorensen was the backup quarterback last year, Ron. So you talk about fitting into a role player. He was a role player last year on offense. This year he's a safety picking off passes.
Shane Graham. No, I beg your pardon. First down. Just looking at him on the sideline, whether they need him for a field goal or whether his team can push it in for the score. We'll see.
And they have 1 timeout left, Ron.
Right through his hands. Vick picks it up and retreats. You see Stith back to help him out, and because he's left-handed, and he just throws that one away. And a flag down. That's going to be intentional grounding.
I think the other flag happened before. The referee's going to throw the intentional grounding. So we're going to have 2 penalties here. About the Red Sox, Ron. Curse of the Bambino.
There are 2 penalties on the play. Personal foul on the defense. Intentional grounding on the offense. Penalties cancel. Repeat first down.
Ron, you always tell your players, don't hit a second time. Will Allen, defensive back, colliding with the receiver. He slaps at him. Watch him. Now there's the punch. Second punch. You always get caught. Then there's a 3rd and a 4th. So Will Allen with the not a smart play at all. Chicken fighting out there.
Vick all the time in the world, fall sideline, and he's off the mark. Johnson is the man that he wanted. Adrian Carson, let's check with you.
The Syracuse defensive captain Keith Bullock will not play the rest of this 112 in the first half with a bruised left knee. Will be evaluated at halftime. Should play in the second half. Troy Nunes, initial indication, twisted left ankle. He will be evaluated at halftime as well, Ron. He should play in the second half.
You see the numbers on him. He has had a rough one. He has taken a couple of really hard hits. 2 of 8. 112 left until halftime with the Hokies on top 28-0. Quarterback draw. 30 and down to the 26. Not enough for the first down. Pettijohn tripped him up.
You talked about this in the open with 59 seconds to go here in the half. They need more seats here. With Michael Vick being the quarterback, they're going to sell a lot more season tickets here.
They roll the pocket. Got a man, throws it complete at the 15-yard line to Parham. It'll be 1st and goal, Virginia Tech, and we have 41 seconds showing on the clock.
Again, Ron, I think you're seeing a defense. It's been on the field a long time here for Syracuse with an offense that can't get anything going.
Virginia Tech calls a timeout. 41 ticks left on the clock until halftime. So we'll take a commercial break. 28-0. They're not done. They're trying to make it a 35-0 halftime. Now some of the band members trying to move up to their position for their halftime show, but the team on the field says, hey, we still got a show going right here with 41 seconds left as Bullock has returned to the lineup. The Syracuse coach is thinking, cannot take a chance. We got to have our best on the field. We can't give up a 35-0 lead in the first half. But they are very close to having that happen. Vick, short drop in the shotgun. Boy, he had Stith open and just overthrew him, and it was Bullock who had the cover. But that's one where he needed to put a little bit of air under it and was unable to do it.
Needed to loft it a little bit and let Chiron Stith make the catch. No timeouts for Virginia Tech. Bullock returns. Looks a little gimpy there as Stith got behind him, but they couldn't throw over Bullock, who's 6'3".
So only 4 seconds used on that play. 37 ticks left on the clock. And no timeouts left for the Hokies here in the first half. Second to go, low pass from center this time, and as they roll the pocket for the end zone, it is knocked away in a nice defensive play by Bird.
He's had a good first half, Ron. He started off knocking balls away, and he's kept it up. David Bird, a senior corner against Ricky Hall. Bad snap, ball bounced. Michael Vick picked it up. There's the great play by David Bird.
Senior cornerback out of Schenectady. So now it's 3rd down and still 31 seconds left until halftime.
Without the timeout, Ron, they've got to throw it. Or quarterback draw. They got to throw in the end zone.
Goes to the left and incomplete. Intended receiver was Andre Davis.
They'll take the field goal.
Well, I mentioned Shane Graham just a moment ago. Outstanding place kicker, senior from Dublin, Virginia. And he will come on and try to make it 31-0 at halftime. 55 of 77 over his career. His longest 53. That was against Clemson a couple of years ago. And this attempt right here from the near hash mark at 25 yards. Gets a good pass and he splits it. Trout and Graham have been in a battle back and forth all year for the scoring honors in this conference. And he knocks this one home to make it 31-0. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, you may never meet a bigger Virginia Tech Hokie fan. I'm with Kenneth Massey, who's been attending football games here in Blacksburg since, well, before we were born in your mother's womb, as a matter of fact. He has a very loud voice in college football as far as the national championship is concerned. Kenneth, you get a call from Roy Kramer, initiating the BCS in the playoff. What did he have to say? What do you want to know?
Well, he contacted me through email first, and I answered a few questions. Then a couple of days later, he phoned me, and I was able to discuss how my ratings worked and what my role would be with the BCS if they selected me.
I want to know about your budget, your headquarters. What does the place look like where you crank out this information?
Well, I do all this from my apartment here in Blacksburg. I just have a PC set up, and that's where I crunch all my numbers.
All right, now how much emphasis do you put on strength of schedule?
Well, each team's rating is determined relative to the teams it's played against. So it's in effect, it goes opponents, and infinitely many times backwards.
Infinitely impossible to understand if you're still using a Royal Manual typewriter in my case. So in theory, if Virginia Tech wins tonight, they could go as high as number 2 in the nation. Is that correct?
Well, depending on what Florida State or Nebraska does, maybe even number 1. It's hard to say right now.
Ron, take a look at the poll. There's the situation. Sometimes it's what he doesn't consider, like night games, whether game is played on turf or on natural grass or weather, things like that.
Okay, guys. Nice report, Adrian. Mr. Massey in the Massive hole. Ball picked up and shy of the 25-yard line by Rodney Wells. We'll take one more look at the poll.
What have we gone to?
What a Nebraska, Florida State, Michigan, K-State, Virginia Tech, number 5. And then on down, Michigan, Penn State, Georgia Tech, Marshall, and Syracuse. Marshall, number 9 in the country.
Yeah, everybody has a lot of opinions. Florida State not being number 1 on that poll. I'd have to argue with computer or no computer.
Williams, the quarterback, with 20 seconds left. He'll go down to one knee, and that should be the final play of this first half. And for very good reason. They are standing, they are cheering, and they are applauding this man's football team because they have been just magnificent in the first half. Our halftime score is Virginia Tech 31 and Syracuse nothing. Now with the Buick halftime report, here's Brian Kenny and Rodney Gilmore.
Away from the defender ability. He's been impressive, and he does it so easy.
7 of 13, as I said, 122 yards and the 1 touchdown. And there are the first half numbers, and it's pretty ugly for Syracuse. 1 first down.
26 rushing yards. You can't do that against Virginia Tech's defense, or any defense for that matter, because they gang up on you.
And 2 turnovers on top of that. Defensively for Syracuse, McIntosh with 9 tackles, 7 for Clifton Smith. Engelberger with 4 for Virginia Tech and 4 for Jamal Smith. First kickoff of the night for Syracuse, and it's Stiff from just inside the 5. And it's Jamont Kynes who will make the tackle. Let's check in on the sideline with Adrian Karsten.
All right, Ron. Coach Pasqualoni and his staff admitted to me, not a Vick McNabb or not, Michael Vick is what he is. And there are some givens we know in the second half. First of all, he's going to run the option, and he's going to throw the ball. So in order to control this game in any way, we got to limit 2 things. On a running play, yards after the initial hit. On a pass play, yards after the initial catch. A lot of that falls on the shoulders of Keith Bullock, their defensive captain, playing hampered with a bruised left knee.
Ron, they better get some offense. All the defense they need some offense.
Big head of steam, has 5, has 10, and he is off and running. Stiff caught from behind and tackled at the 21-yard line by Will Allen. 58 yards.
Yeah, Will Allen with a great effort to catch Stiff from scoring a touchdown. But Ron, I think what Virginia Tech's, they may be tired of hearing about their schedule too. They're making a statement here tonight that they're one of the better football teams in the country, and they got an excellent tailback in Chiron Stiff. It's not the way you want to come out if you're Paul Pasqualoni and give up a big gainer.
Yeah, that's a triple deep off the center field wall. Oh boy. 31-0 and counting. Kendrick comes into the lineup, and he bangs it at right tackle. Not much there. Another tackle for Clifton Smith. We mentioned he was one of the tackle leaders in the first half for Syracuse.
Good tackle by Clifton Smith. He hasn't packed it in yet. He's staying around for the whole ball game. He's played well.
Well, Kendrick goes out. Stith will come back into the lineup. You see his numbers now over 100 yards with that 58-yard jaunt just a moment ago. Vick from the shotgun. Pumps it once, now under pressure, and that one is tipped by Bullock right in the middle.
I think they had a screen on to Chiron Stith. It was covered by Donald Dinkins. Did a good job, and we got some injuries on the field, and he just threw the ball away.
Greenwood is down, and as you can see, the trainer has come on. Vick is going to have to come off the field because they've come out to check him over, and
here was the screen set up here to Stith, but a good job by Donald Dinkins. Now Greenwood chases down Michael Vick. Both seem to have in that collision a little injury. There's no screen on the other side. He just threw the ball away.
Well, Clifton Smith caught him around the chin with his headgear, and I think that's probably why Vick has gone to the bench. He might have a few cobwebs after that lick that he just absorbed.
I think what Virginia Tech's coaches are asking is that Vick was not hurt, and he shouldn't have to come off the field. But the official's not going to agree with that. They're going to make Dave Meyer come in for one play.
Well, what's happening also over on the sideline, Damasi, who is the new center, we've documented it several times tonight. He is a new center. Dave Meyer comes in at quarterback. He has not played a great deal, although he had to play when the injury occurred to Vick early on in the season. So, new center, new quarterback, and they had several snaps right there in front of the bench to make sure that they don't lose an exchange early.
You're looking at might be the player of the game here, Steve Damasi. He's done very well. He needs to get back in the huddle here, but he's had a good first half. Third team walk-on.
Ready for play.
Starting at center tonight.
Dave Myers, the new Virginia Tech.
It's got to be a give to Stith here, Ron. Or Ferguson, just to
Whoever's back.
get Michael Vick back in the ball game.
Third down and 9. And the pitch goes back to Stith, and he is collared. I'll tell you what, Clifton Smith, if he has not garnered some attention tonight, he certainly should have. He is playing with a reckless abandon. And as Mike said, where some other folks might have their head down a little bit, trailing 31-0, this kid's motor is still going full speed.
37 yards on the attempt.
They're proud of their linebacking crew.
So the field goal attempt by Graham, it'll be a 37-yard attempt from the near hash mark. Good pass, plenty of distance on this one, and he's got it. So there is a commercial timeout, 34-0. The Hokies of Virginia Tech will be right back. Inside that house, as you look at the back of the press box, 34-0, capacity crowd, and we were just talking during the timeout. These folks are enjoying this football team and this situation so much. They won't leave early. They're not like they're having too much fun with this football team. His kick is going to go out of bounds, and they will scrimmage from the 35. Second time tonight that has happened. As you look at Bullock on the sideline.
Well, Bud Foster's defense for Virginia Tech has been opportune tonight. Started with Anthony Midget making a hit on Quentin Spotwood. May have had the face mask. Corey Bird picks it up. Then Midget with another big hit. Then Ike Charlton lays out Pat Woodcock. Then they stop the fullback, Kyle Johnson, no place to go. Jamel Smith, the linebacker, steps up and hits the tailback. They've been all over this Syracuse offense. They're hitting everything in white jerseys. Anything that moves.
Corey Moore, you got a good look at him. He's with pressure. They've got him down, though, and the run by Williams. Going to take off. It's Engelberger after him, and he goes over the top, and a flag is down as Bird will wind up with the stop.
Coming back.
It's going to be holding against Syracuse.
Corey Bowen against Corey Moore. Corey Moore is so fast, Ron, out of his stance. It's just very difficult. Corey Moore coming in. Just lays on top of him. Jeff Pilon. I don't know if that was the holding or not.
As you can see, Moore shaken up on the play, grabbing just below his knee.
He explodes, Ron. He's like a track guy coming out of his stance.
You have to wonder about him, Mike. Is he a strong safety in the pro? Is he big enough to play a rush in? Because, what, 212 pounds?
Bowling Green had a guy a long time ago named Joe Green. He was a middle guard, and he played strong safety for the Giants.
Well, I said 212. I'm wrong. About 222 is what he was. D. Brown, and he's going to wiggle his way out across the 30-yard line. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Well, as Corey Moore runs right back into the game only after one play out, he took this silent but violent approach this week, Ron, along with John Engelberger. They don't like the media much, very honestly. They were all set to speak to us one-on-one yesterday afternoon and said, no, too much pressure this week. We closed practice. We are really focused on our situation now. Mike, you mentioned the fact Joe Green did great from the agent standpoint. Corey is a finance major, has his degree, could represent himself if he had to.
Okay, Adrian, 2nd and 15 pressure, and here comes Carl Bradley. Carl says, hey, I want a piece of the action. I want some publicity. Corey Bird also coming to help his teammate. It's the first sack by Virginia Tech tonight.
Well, they draw a beat on you. Corey Moore, he rushed the last play. Here's another sign. He dropped back. Talk about whether he can play, and he needs to do a little bit more of this, dropping back in coverage. Of course, Carl Bradley made sure the pass never was thrown.
3rd down. Line to make is all the way out at the 45. Williams, and he just throws this one away. He did have Woodcock in the vicinity, so there's no marker for grounding, and it'll be a situation for Schaefer to punt.
Ron, here's one of the negative points of playing two quarterbacks. The positive point is they keep raising the bar. Negative point is when you play a defense like the wide tackle 6, you split time in practice too. You don't get enough looks at the defense.
Mike Schaefer waits for the snap. He stands back at the 10-yard line. Hall is the deep man for Virginia Tech. Drafted, and he is going to be tackled. At the 10-yard line, they're still scrambling for it, and it was Larry Austin.
Ron, they were jumpy from the start. Syracuse. Anthony Mitchell kept pointing and moving and trying to get somebody to jump. Larry Austin got in there very rapidly, talking to Mike Schaefer over on the sideline, trying to pressure the center. They're trying to shoot that gap. Good snap.
He just took
didn't
his
handle
eye.
it. He didn't handle it.
Just took his eye off of it.
Well, you know what? Those rushes wear on a punter because they keep pressuring you.
So it is 1st and goal. Michael Vick goes under center, and the ball at the 9-yard line, and bouncing off is Hawkins, and Cullen Hawkins will be tackled by Bullock. Maybe a half-yard loss in the play. Also, Dinkins came up to make contact.
Tell you who made that play? Oh, Eric Downing. They didn't get any movement on number 90. He stood him up, and Jarrett Ferguson ran in right to his blocker because Eric Downing was right there.
Kendrick and Hawkins in the game replacing Stiff and Ferguson. And the pitch goes to Kendrick. Is he going to throw? Nope, he's going to run it back into the boundary. And who was out there to push him out? Clifton Smith.
On the last 3 games in here, we talked about it. Coming into the night, it was 107 Virginia Tech, 34 Syracuse, and add 34 more onto there. 141 to 34, so it just has not been a comfortable place for Syracuse to come and play. Now, they've done very well against Virginia Tech up at the Dome.
Virginia Tech inside the 20. Look at that. 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals tonight. 3rd down and goal. Option play. And the pitch goes back to Kendrick. Gets a block, and he will score. Hawkins with a great block.
Six for 6 in the red zone. Cullen Hawkins, you're right. He made the big block on Ian McIntosh, number 2.
extra point. He's got it. If this were a boxing match, it'd be over. They'd stop it. 10:08 left in the third, and our new score, the Hokies of Virginia Tech 41 and Syracuse nothing. Nothing. Just over 10 minutes left to play. Not in the ball game, but in the third quarter. So the giant lobby begins. They're about to go 6-0. Very, very high kick from the 3. Will Allen breaks the tackle and he's loose at the 40. Cuts it back into the field, loses the football, and recovered by Virginia Tech. Lee Suggs is on the football.
Well, turnovers. Kickoff return by Will Allen. Got good room down the right side. Just gets the ball stripped. Wow. You get a good return all the way past the 50-yard line. Fumble the ball. Virginia Tech gets it. And your defense is back on the field again.
This has gone beyond a nightmare now. Big opening up the middle, has 5, has 10. Now here comes down a flag. That's going to be holding. It was thrown to the referee back behind the line of scrimmage. And he'll bring it back for a hold.
Late flag. Now, how about, again, the offensive line for Virginia Tech has just handled this front. Ron, you talked about it at the beginning of the ball game. There are a lot of people that think this is Syracuse's best defense. And they're being put in a paper shredder tonight. Line, all juniors. Very young offensive football team. Defensively, they have 7 senior starters for Virginia Tech.
Actually, the only one, Mike, who is a senior is not playing. It's Keith Short, who normally is the starter.
They think he's a pro player at the center spot. He's hurt, missing this ball game.
Straight ahead, stiff, another head of steam. He's going to go for about 7 yards.
I like the way he runs now.
Good lean.
He punishes you. Yeah, he runs up in there. He punishes you. Very good back. I was just looking at the scores there across in Wake Forest playing Florida State tight tonight.
Big win for Alabama. David Cutcliffe and his kids down at Ole Miss making it close. How about the comeback by Georgia? They were down 17-0.
That was a big game for Jim Donnan and his staff because you knew they were going to be flat from that game against Tennessee.
Yeah.
And they were hurt. They took a whipping.
How about Miami getting another game canceled because of a hurricane? Stiff again, and he is loose. Boy, how many times have we said that tonight? McIntosh leads his team in tackles tonight, and it's because of situations like that. 24 yards.
I'd be knocking on Frank Beamer's door if I was Steve DeMasi. I'd get to knock right in and say, Coach, how'd you like those blocking up front there now? I'm only 1 of 5, but I'm a walk-on. Third team guy stepped up tonight, and they're running the football, not missing a beat. Look at how he runs it. Stays low to the ground, tough runner.
There was a sideline warning against Virginia Tech. That was the only reason for the hold up for a moment as the official went over and gave him a first warning. Clock runs are about to go under 8.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Virginia Tech 41-0 and looking for more. Play action by Vick. And way too tall on that one. It was intended for Slobakowski.
Syracuse defense came into this ball game. They've been on the field a lot. But they were only averaging giving up 13 points And they've given up 41. That was 7th in the NCAA coming into this ball game. But they have not had any help from their offense. Their offense has really let them on the field.
Haven't played in harmony.
No.
You're right. Vick, 7 of 15, 122 yards. He's missed his last 5. Stiff tries to get outside. Bullock has got a hold of him, and he will push him back after a gain of very close to 6 yards. Quentin Harris also up from the secondary.
This is the first place, Ron, that game day has gone where Lee Corso was welcome. He picked Virginia Tech at the beginning of the year to play in the championship. He's hiding underneath that awning. In Corso we trust. It's the only time I've ever seen that.
Stiff spinning off a tackler at the 40 or at the 38-yard line, and Quentin Harris again. He's not going to have the first down. It's got to be a 4th down situation on the near sideline. Coach Beamer with the decision to make.
No, they might as well go for it here. No, they're going to kick. They'll play the percentages and try to pin Syracuse down unless they fake this. Don't want to give field position to Syracuse, even though you're ahead 41-0. You want to keep making them work.
Jimmy Kibble.
Take a delay here, Ron. Just got it on.
Very, very high. Deep man runs away from it, and it hits in the end zone for the touchback. So 39 yards in the kick. It'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Should have took the delay. That would have given them the 5 yards they needed.
Should have taken the delay. 6:53 left. Coming up tomorrow on ESPN, NASCAR Winston Cup Racing live from Talladega Superspeedway with 5 races left. Points leader Dale Jarrett looks to increase his lead over Terry Labonte at the Winston 500. Coverage begins 1 o'clock Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Noon's back to the quarterback. Mungro with a gain of very close to 10 yards in the play at left tackle behind Banowitz and O'Donnell.
Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, played the outside linebacker position at Murray State. Same position, same defense he's teaching right here. He's done a nice job. Steve Spurrier, supposedly they were interested in Bud as the defensive coordinator in Florida, but he decided to stay here with Frank Beamer.
Well, he came here with him. As you said, 13 years he's been here with the head coach. Mungro, 3 carries for 34 yards. He is about the only bright light on the offensive side of the ball for Syracuse, as he'll pick up the first down. That's the second first down of the night.
I was going to say, they have moved. The Chainsmen have been in cement when Syracuse has the ball. They haven't moved. It's their second first down.
In 39 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't care who the offense is tonight. Virginia Tech defensively playing lights out.
Mungro this time hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it's Chad Beasley. Now everybody's getting into the parade. Brian Kenny, let's check with you again.
All right, Ron, let's check in on the Big East. Boston College and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh up on top 16-13, less than 2 minutes to go. And Tim Hasselback for BC up top. Derek DeWalt's got that. 20-16 Boston College. It's now a final, Ron.
Wow. So Boston College at 5-1 now. Temple, their only loss.
Hasselback was hurt in the ball game last week. Actually came out of the locker room with his arm in a sling. Didn't look like it on that play.
Noon's back to throw. Looking, still looking, and he's looked too long as he's going to take it back the other direction. The coaches are saying take it on up the field, and he took it as far as he could, and Pugh was there to usher him out of bounds.
Long way to, and now a flag comes down. Long way to run for 2 yards. 2 quarterback system for Syracuse tonight. Either one of them They've both been ineffective.
Personal foul against Syracuse.
There's the statistics, Ron. When you look at the 3 completions they've had tonight, throwing the football for 8 yards. Not a highlight tape that you want to show. Passing the football. Under duress the entire game.
Personal foul, stepped off back to the 18.
Ron, you mentioned about Nunes being from Butler, Pennsylvania. Against Pittsburgh, he had 3 touchdown passes. That had to be a great homecoming for Troy Nunes. And Jerry Punch interviewed his father in that ball game.
Third down and forever.
And they're going to pin their ears back and go get Troy Nunes here.
Complete to Johnson. He pays for it at the 20. Michael Hawks, the first man.
I'm impressed with the linebackers tonight of Virginia Tech. Of course, they've got a complement of everything, but their linebackers are fast. Looks like you have plays and they close it with their closing speed. The only thing they haven't done tonight is block a punt. Now they got Mike Schaefer on a bad snap, or a snap that he couldn't handle.
Got on a knee to secure that one, and he messed up the kick. End over end is going to hit just beyond midfield. It's only going to be about a 32, 33-yard kick. 34 is where it winds up, and there is a commercial coming with 4:10 remaining, third quarter. All Hokies. Well, we're back, and you see the numbers, 41-0 with 4:10 left in the third quarter. Yeah, this crowd is having a gay old time now. It's homecoming. Everybody's come back here to see the Hokies play. They have been out here all day long and making noise and cheering. And tonight during this game, Frank Beamer's ball club has given them a lot to cheer about. Straight ahead, Kendrick, and he will take it across midfield to the 48. Clifton Smith has just made his 11th tackle of the ball game.
Ron, you know what they remind me of, Virginia Tech? Like a basketball team like UCLA, they used to press you all the time in fast break, Kentucky or Las Vegas when Tark was there. That the style of the game was to press you and run and make you play 4 quarters with speed all the time, and that's what they do in football. Virginia Tech, they press you on offense with Vick, they press you on defense, and they press you on special teams, and they're pressing the mascot.
Well, it was a straw he was putting on the orange.
Mascot's not even safe here.
And let's check in with Adrian Karsten.
In response to what Mike said earlier on, Ron, about how much of a statement is this for Virginia Tech? Well, for the players, they want to take it in a very low-key fashion. They didn't even mention the word Syracuse this week. To them, it was just Game 6, in which we play Team 6. In Week 6, when we come back for Miami and the Hurricanes, maybe they'll have better athletes, but it will be Week 9 against Team 9 and game number 9. This is a group that carries an old beat-up lunch pail around with them, Ron. That's their signature. That's the way they want to. They don't even want to mention the phrase national championship. Let it show up on the banners. Let people make the comparisons to Donovan McNabb, but the lunch pail guys are just going to get the job done up front. That's their attitude.
Well, the guy you were just looking at on the sideline, yesterday he was very accommodating as far as visiting about the team, but Frank's not one that looks for spotlight or big talk.
They're going to get pressed against Miami. There's a lot of season left, but Miami's going to press them now.
I don't think there's any question about that. Kendrick, in fact,
Andre Kendrick on the
he's close to the first down, but he's not going to have it.
Down to the 45-yard line, Pettijohn on the stop.
Miami's one of those situations where they may have 3 losses, but tell me anyone in that top 10 group that would like to play them.
No.
Right now or
Dangerous.
anytime.
Dangerous. Kelly's getting better at quarterback. They got speed on defense, and they have a game breaker of their own in Santana Moss, who's now with Warwick out down at Florida State, may be every bit as good as any receiver in the country.
3rd down and 1 as we're about to go under 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Vick, and straight ahead, this will be Hawkins. Hawkins will have the 1st down. And it'll move to change. Clock continues to run, and let's take a look at the USA ESPN poll. Here's my one question, and not to kindle that fire again about a multiple team playoff. You see those top 2 teams up there? Penn State was 1 play from being beaten by Miami. They got 3 losses. Florida State was 2 plays away. So my point is, you think, as I mentioned again, do you think any of those teams want to play Miami? No, and that's the reason that multiple teams should be allowed in the playoff, because Miami's a great example this year. They might beat either one of those teams if we play.
Well, you're speaking to the choir.
Not much doing for Kendrick right there, as he will be tackled after a gain of a couple. So I agree with you that when we come back up here in, what is it, 3 weeks or 4 weeks to do the Miami at the Virginia Tech game, stay tuned, folks. I think that could be an all-out affair.
I think Miami will have a shot at Virginia Tech. Temple beat them last year in homecoming. They've had problems in homecoming games. They lost 3 out of their last 4 homecoming games. They're not going to go to the dance unhappy tonight.
Let it be noted, put a giant asterisk by 1999, because they didn't have any problems.
Dancing away tonight.
Oh my goodness! And this is just timeout called by Virginia Tech. It'll stop the clock with 1:50 left in the 3rd, and we'll take the timeout with them.
You won't miss a bit of the action.
These people haven't missed any of the action. In fact, they're creating their own in the stands here at Blacksburg, Virginia. Their team driving again, and they already lead it 41-0. Play action by Vick. Got incomplete at the 28, and that's Emmett Johnson. Good for 13.
Ron, they've run this play successfully all night. The little counter action. Michael Vick comes to the left side, which he feels comfortable coming out this way. Throwing to his left. Emmett Johnson's coming all the way from the flanker position. You see him come into your screen. Wide open. Willie Ford trying to stay up with him, but a long way to run. I'd say another score, and Michael Vick will hit the pines, and we'll see Dave Meyer the rest of the way.
I was going to ask you how much longer they'll go with him in this ball.
I think this is it.
Well, they're going to run a little reverse right here. Andre Davis gets a nice block, and he'll score. When you look at the replay, guess who threw a nice block? Vick.
I'd say Michael Vick. He's done everything else tonight. Shaking their heads on the other sideline. They've just been blasted. Well, what does that make it now?
That's 47. It's about to be 48.
155 to 34 in the last 4 ball games here. Andre Davis, speedster. Michael Vick with a block. Another nice block.
Lair.
By Lambeau, too. And Andre Davis in the end zone. He's a big play wide receiver. Ran touchdown on the reverse.
Adrian Karsten with 134 left in this third quarter. What do you have for us?
Ron, another story about another quarterback sensation, a young man who plays at North Carolina, or did until a couple of weeks ago anyway. Ronald Curry, who now is hurt his Achilles tendon and won't play anymore this year. Well, he and Michael Vick played in the same conference here in Virginia, and Michael says the best thing that could have happened to him in his last year of the redshirt season was to watch Ronald Curry in some inconsistency. He wishes nothing bad on Ronald Curry, but he was kind of in his shadow, very honestly, in high school. He didn't think he was ready to play last year, and as Ron, as you said earlier in the game, for him to travel with the team, watch the films, listen to the coaches, listen to Al Clark, his predecessor, and to watch Ronald Curry make some mistakes, he learned from those mistakes and says that's why he is one of the reasons he's playing so well this season.
I don't think there's any question about that, Adrian. And probably another point that can be made is this kick is going to be returned by Will Allen, 2 yards deep. And he is tripped up. He'll get to the 16-yard line. And let's check with Brian Kenny.
Iron go to the Mountain West. 4-1 BYU taking on New Mexico. Kevin Federick 5 yards away. Easy pickings for him. Marissa Alamua with the touchdown grab there. BYU up 21-0. Ron?
Okay, 21-0. I'll complete the point that I was making. And one of the differences in the situation, and I'm not blind, I'm not taking a shot at anybody's stat, but Michael Vick has played under a much more structured situation. Ad-lib has not been the name of his game, where Ronald Curry was allowed to have athletic ability do a lot for him. I think that's made a difference, Mike.
Well, I don't know if I agree with you, because a lot of times it depends who you got playing around you too. A lot of things for North Carolina, they were hit heavy by graduation, and Davenport played quarterback, and then Curry came in and played a little bit, and then all of a sudden they lost a lot of the players, and then so he's done a lot on his own. This guy now, Michael Vick, all of a sudden, Ron, you put him in a quarterback and you give him Stith, you give him a very good offensive line, you give him Andre Davis, a wide receiver that can run by everybody, Ricky Hall. So he's got a pretty good supporting cast in a defense that's giving him good field position.
Second down, Utah pass or shuttle pass, whichever you want to call it. This is D. Brown. D into the secondary at the 35, and a good tackle. 18 yards on the play is Larry Austin. Submarined him and took him down.
Cactus Jack Curtis was the one that started the shovel pass out on the West Coast. What'd you say, shovel pass?
Or Utah pass.
Utah pass, yeah. He was the coach of Utah. And Cactus Jack.
Yeah, the Utah pass has gotten a couple of quarterbacks hurt this year. In fact, the Auburn quarterback, whether he's
Ben Laird,
yeah, he got hurt on that very play. Quick out pass, and it was gathered in by Woodcock.
Well, you can just see the frustration on this, on the faces of the Syracuse players. There's just nothing going right.
That'll be the last play of this third quarter. They have now stopped it. As you see Meyer on the sideline, loosening up, and Dave, the junior from Ramsey, New Jersey, will get an opportunity to play the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I would say Michael Vick, we've seen the last of him.
Well, they're going to call that pass incomplete, so they're asking him to put some time back on the clock.
We'll put some batteries in that microphone. We're going to check on the phone, call upstairs and see exactly the time. 48-0. I don't know if 2 seconds are going to matter here. I've been involved in some games. I wish they'd let the clock go.
I started to say, Paul probably wouldn't argue with you. Boy, they're going to add 9 seconds.
Yeah. That's when it gets worse. When they add time, you're getting beat 48-0.
Made on Brown, and that's Pugh, and that should be the final play of the third quarter. 3 seconds, 2-1, and the four fingers go up over their head. Let's take a timeout as we head to the final 15 minutes. It is the Hokies of Virginia Tech 48 and Syracuse nothing. And we're back. The beginning of the fourth and final period. 48-0. Number 4 Virginia Tech leading previously number 15 Syracuse. And the quick pass knocked down. That's Ben Taylor, one of the linebackers who went out parallel to the ground and knocked it away.
And Larry Austin too had visions of an interception there. Ben Taylor tipped it. Both of them were there.
Well, I have an illegal receiver downfield. It is declined, and Emmeline Schaefer is on to punt. Reminding you, coming up next for the SEC, it's the 6th-ranked Florida Gators taking on the Auburn Tigers. And in fact, we'll get you down there for the opening kickoff, which should happen at about 11 minutes after 9 o'clock. They've got the return on, and it's a line drive, and it's going to be taken by Hall, and he's hit immediately. Tackled at the 28 by Woodcock.
Florida State still struggling with Wake Forest.
Well, how about McCoo today? They've been looking for consistency with the running game, and all of a sudden, poof, there he is.
Duke played hard, pushed Georgia Tech.
They have improved as the year's gone on, haven't they? Lee Suggs is in at running back, number 22. And he gets the handoff, and Lee gets a rude greeting to the ball game as he is slammed down behind the line of scrimmage. That's Bullock, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, Keith Bullock playing hard. He wants to make everybody pay now. Been on the field a long time tonight. Number 33 steps inside to tackle.
And Winsick.
Backup tackle.
Yeah.
Demasi still in there? Yes, he is. Number 61.
You got to remember,
he's still working. Yeah, that's right.
Unless they take Lair from left guard, and I'm sure they're trying to get him a little edge. Neapoli is in at left guard. And again, Suggs hit behind the line of scrimmage. Clifton Smith, who has really been outstanding in the ball game.
Nice job by Steve Demasi on Eric Downing there, number 90. How about your first game? You walk on your first game against the Syracuse Orangemen, and everybody's worried about the center position. And you're the guy, Ron. You got to step up and do it. The man of the hour. He'll be big at the homecoming dance tonight, Steve Demasi.
Michael Vick, you can see him loosening his rib protector on the sideline. Suggs breaks it open, has 5, has 10, and close to the first down, but not quite enough. We're going to say 3 yards shy. Will Allen tripped him up.
Of course, at the length of this game, homecoming dance will be a short dance.
Hello. Spotwood deep for Syracuse.
Spotwood goes back deep. He has been silenced tonight.
Good to see him back, though. He got the knee injury, and I'm glad he's back.
Good heavens, he almost kicked this one out of the county. It hits at the 5 and goes into the end zone. And consider that the line of scrimmage where it was, that's a 64-yard punt. Break in the action will take it with them. 48-0 Hokies. Welcome back. 12:51 remaining, and it's 48-0. Virginia Tech. Noon's back in a quarterback. They run the option of the pitch back to Mungro, and he turns it very well as he is up around the 40-yard line. And Mungro definitely has been the only
spark plug.
Bright light for Syracuse offensively as Hunt is out there to make the tackle. Well, the BCS computer rankings, I know in a couple of weeks we start getting into this, and here are the different computer rankings and how they stand. I find it interesting that the New York Times
These
and
two
the
guys,
Anderson Hester, are 10 and 11. Billingsley at 8. So you have to wonder with what they might have seen tonight.
How about Massey? He's going back to his room now. He's a Virginia Tech fan. He's going to load up some more information.
Well, actually, what he's doing, he's working on his doctorate, and I think he had another test coming up, so he went back to study. Big opening for Mungro, and he breaks it not only for the first down. That's a gain of about 14 yards. Steve Hunt again. Don't forget, coming up, and we'll bring you, or we'll have you there for the kickoff, Florida and Auburn, and that is coming up next. And as I mentioned, at about 11 past the hours when they're kicking, we'll have you there so that you don't miss a play. This one here pretty well in hand at 48-0 and about to go to 12 minutes to play. Look at the numbers on Mungro. 7 carries, 68 yards. Spun around this time.
All the backup defensive players in for Virginia Tech. Bud Foster gets a chance to build some depth, bringing in his backups against this Syracuse offense.
And if you had told Bud this was going to happen, those backups would get some playing time against Syracuse, he probably would have laughed at you.
No, I thought talking to them before the game, they felt confident, but they knew it was going to be a tough football game. They expected a tough game out of Syracuse.
2nd and 10. Mungro again on the option, and he'll be knocked into the sideline by Larry Austin. And before we leave you, our Visa Players of the Game from Syracuse. What an outstanding job by the freshman linebacker Clifton Smith. We have him for 11 tackles, 7 of those solo. And from Virginia Tech, Stith, 140 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And our congratulations to those 2 young men for being our Visa Players of the Game tonight. Here's Stith. His longest run of the night, 58 yards, and that was right at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, and really sent a message that Virginia Tech was going to say, this one's not over. We're going to keep pouring the coal to the fire. 3rd down and 2, movement everywhere, and the ball is knocked loose. O'Donnell, I think, came out of his stance, number 67.
That's the kind of night it's been for Syracuse. Usually a team that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Chiron Stith had a big night, had 2 long runs against the Syracuse defense. Took the ball inside, shows a lot of speed, gets into the secondary, gets chased down, and shows you the strength, lower body strength, breaking tackles up inside. Powerful runner.
Ball is tipped. It's alive. Incomplete. Tipped by Beasley. Closest man to it was Jake Housewright, who is a reserve middle linebacker.
Chad Beasley with his hands up at the defensive line position,
so the
getting
ball,
a little piece of that football.
Ball goes over. Couldn't convert on, well, I beg your pardon. Now 4th down. 1 down ahead of myself here. 8 punts tonight for Syracuse. This is the 9th. Little pooch kick. It is caught on the run. No fair catch signal for it. The 15 by Ricky Hall. 27 yards on the kick and 2 on the return. Don't forget, coming up in just a few moments, Florida, number 6 in the nation, down on the plains against Auburn.
Auburn's been banged up a little bit too. Clifton Robinson, Heath Evans. I think they're going to play, but have practiced sparingly this week.
And Laird, the word is only by emergency would they play him, right? Suggs again in the ball game at running back, number 22. He'll get the handoff, and he got the defensive player just as soon as he got the handoff. Bullock again.
Yeah, Bullock shot to gap, and Troy Taylor's supposed to play tonight for Florida. He's coming back. There was some question whether Doug Johnson was going to be the quarterback or Jesse Palmer was going to have to see action. But I think they're trying to redshirt Jesse Palmer. They'd like to keep him out of action.
Bullock, by the way, just made the tackle. He's got 13 on the...
Yeah, he's played well, Ron. He really has. Missed a couple tackles early, but he's played hard.
Meyer took the snap. The flag came down, trying to catch Syracuse offside.
Did. Rack that up to Steve DeMasi, the center again.
And there the clock goes back in. This one way too high, so Mike, we're about to go away and head down to Auburn, Alabama, 48-0. I know you were impressed. The number 4 ranking for Virginia Tech, and they have held up. So
without a doubt,
48-0. Now let's head to Auburn. Here is Steve Levy and Todd Christensen, along with Holly Rowe, down in Auburn, Alabama, for the Gators.
Bolden ran one in, so it's 30-3 now, and this is mercifully over. Virginia Tech made its point. Massacre in Blacksburg, Steve.